Well, good morning, my TJ King family. How is everybody today? I am fine. Oh, in my college basketball, how good is that when considering I don't know one player, right? That's how I problem solve. And that's what problem solving is. Problem solving is the foundation. Um, problem solve is getting the thesis and using it. So when I teach you about inflation and gold and silver, it's the thesis that works. And that's how I can problem solve all these sports and gold and silver. So let's get into this. Silver 7102, gold 4540 was 4560. Seems to be settling down, moving up 45. It'll get to 46. It'll get to 47. But it's doing the problem solve and understanding it is the key to it. Once you can problem solve one thing, you can problem solve everything. Right? So it's what are you looking at? What are the variables? And how do you problem solve? So we do gold and silver, we do football. And we developed how to problem solve football. We say, look at the offense, the defense. Just a second. So in the basics in football, what do? We look at the teams. We've come up with the analysis of it's about the teams. We look at the team, in other words, how do you pick the game? Well, if we understand the teams, we can pick the game. We say, oh, yeah, that makes sense. So it works. Oh, be careful it's all about the defense. We've noticed a good defense shuts down a good offense. And we see that. We say, why did they lose that game? So by being critically thinking and understanding how did Marino lose that game, or how did John Elway lose the game? Well, because they played a good defense. A good defense will always stop a good offense, which is why I bitch about the Lions. They never really seem to understand that it's all about building a defense. They always build an offense and they always lose. And there's a saying here, same old Lions. Well, that's what it means. It is the same old Lions because the Lions don't understand it. They keep drafting. They get Barry Sanders. They still don't have a defense. They get Chris Spielman. They had a decent defense for a while. Then they get Calvin Johnson and still no defense. They had one good defense in 1970. They had a good defense. Joe Schmidt was the coach. He was a middle linebacker for the Lions when they actually won the title in the 50s. And they fired him, of course. And it's been, let's have offense because the Lions aren't interested in winning. They're interested in selling tickets, which they do very poorly anyway. So you start realizing, hey, the 60s was the Packers. They had a great defense. The 70s was the Steelers. They had a great defense. The 80s, they had Montana, but he won when they had a great defense. And then you had the 84, 85 Bears, and then you had Lawrence Taylor. Look who's winning. All these great defensive teams. So you go, hey, the great defense, they win. So let's focus on the great defense. So that's how you problem solve. You study and you see what's happening and why, and off you go. That's why it's so unsettling, all these teams going for it on fourth down. That's not the game. The game is to field position and build a strong defense. Who won the Super Bowl this year? Seattle. Why? Great defense. Who won last year? Philadelphia. Great defense. And so I'm saying it translates into college basketball. Oh, Arizona, great offense, great defense. If this was a football game, I'd be all over Arizona every week. And that's what you see. Now, how good is the other defenses? I don't know. But I would bet the top-ranked defense to win this tournament in the last 4 games. Okay. We didn't get a miracle in Connecticut yesterday because we had 5.5 points. But I don't. They're down 15 and 20, and I had to turn it off. I can't watch this. But I know somehow they're going to make it close. And I don't watch it. And then I see the final, and they won by 1. I said, I got to see this. So, of course, on YouTube, they had the final, like 10 minutes of the game, and you could just see Duke playing not to lose and Kentucky and Connecticut playing to win. What do you mean they played not to lose? They weren't playing offense anymore. Duke was doing more pad. They were trying to kill the clock instead of trying to score. Even at the end of the game, they had the game won. I'm really doubting this coach on Duke now. They had the game won. There's 10 seconds left. Duke, Connecticut made the free throw and they missed one, so they're down 2 with 10 seconds left, and Duke has the ball. Duke inbounds the pass. All they have to do is dribble around. They don't even have to cross half court. This reminds me of the Miami Hurricanes coach who didn't know he could take a knee on the last play against Georgia Tech, and he ends up fumbling, and Georgia Tech, Haynes King, throws 70-yard touchdown, and they win the game. And it's the same thing here. All you had to do dribble out. You didn't. 10 seconds. You got 10 seconds to cross half court. It would have happened, and there would be 0 left, right? So you wouldn't have got a 10-second violation. What is he doing? Toothpaste. What is he doing? So bad coach, doesn't understand. Why was there 2 guys deep for Duke? In other words, all 5 guys of Connecticut are inside the front court, but 2 of Duke's play. Why did you need 2? 2 of them are standing by the basket. Why? You need to get the ball out. You should be helping with the passes. Notice what Connecticut did. They didn't foul them. They're down 2. A foul doesn't do you any good, and then you're down 4. So the only way you win is to steal the ball. That's what I thought Michigan State should have done. Instead, they do the foul crap. You have to steal the ball. You can't foul anymore when you're 2 or 3 down at the end, because they're going to make the free throws. So again, I thought Izzo outcoached himself too. But that's what you have. You have to realize that they went for the steal, not the foul. And why was the guy throwing the pass? There was no reason for the Duke guy to throw the pass that got knocked down that gave Connecticut the possession, right? There was no reason for that pass. All he had to do was just sit there and dribble the ball, and and then also, why were there 2 guys? So I only have 3 guys in the backcourt, and I got 5 Connecticut players. What was that? They're not going to guard you. They don't care about you. in the front court. So the guys in the front court need to be in the back court. So it gives you 5 guys to pass to. That was their first problem. And then the second was he threw a pass that he had what were you throwing? You didn't need the points. So you're up 2. All you have to do is dribble the clock out. You did not need to pass. Nope, they don't do that. Bad coaching. And then the guy throws it away. And then, okay, it's a nice shot. But he made it, and give him credit. But the opportunity should never have presented itself there. That should have been dribble the clock out. I don't need to cross half court. I got 10 seconds. Where was the coach on that? Nowhere to be seen. So bad coaching that doesn't understand. The player doesn't understand. I knew, and I'm not a coach, but I knew 10 seconds is all you got. I don't have to cross half court. I just dribble the ball out. Or they're going to foul me. Either way, they're not going to take a shot because they're not going to have the ball. So that's a big part of bad coaching. Or was it analytics says you got to pass the ball in the front court, right? So the problem-solving ability is you problem solve after the game. What happened? What went wrong? Connecticut out-coached Duke. Maybe the Duke coach isn't very good. You got the lead, but you blew the lead, and you shouldn't have blown the lead. Even with a minute left, you were up 4 or whatever, and Duke, Connecticut was coming back. They were pressuring the ball, and you fell into it. You're worried about throwing the ball deep when you need all 5 guys in the backcourt. And I just thought it was bad coaching. So again, you learn from problem solving. So that's why I bet Connecticut yesterday they have a better coach, or a very good coach, good enough to beat Michigan State. So because of that, so you see they were way up on Michigan State and won, and then they were way down to Duke and won. So they got a good coach. That's the first thing you're looking for. Good coach, he's going to win you games. And then we look at next week. Michigan plays Arizona, and then Duke, and then who is it? Illinois plays Connecticut. So Connecticut beat Michigan State, beat Duke. You think they're losing to Illinois? No chance. And they're a dog there, I believe. Maybe they're laying 1.5. And then Michigan's favored over Arizona. You got to love Arizona. They get the best offense and the best defense. Good luck there. So Michigan ends next week. Now, the other thing I have is they're not even on TV. They're on TBS. They're not on CBS. If I'm CBS, I'm screaming because I'm losing a great game and all that revenue from the commercials and TV revenue, and I'm losing it. Why would you give the final 2 games to TBS? I don't even have TBS. So if I'm going to watch the game, I'm going to go to like a restaurant, like Twin Peaks or something, and nurse a Diet Coke for 2 hours. So again, more stupidity. You have to put these games on normal TV. Putting it on these cables are incredibly stupid. Less people have cable. Does a lot of people still have cable? I don't know. I doubt it. It's very expensive. Are you going to pay now? The internet connector, I have Spectre, does not have TBS and ESPN and all those. Probably trying to keep their costs down, but this is just internet. This isn't cable. So when I move, I'll try to get Xfinity or something, and hopefully they'll have ESPN and TBS. So that'll be next year. But same thing with the college playoffs. Why aren't you on ABC? Why are you on ESPN? It doesn't make any sense. You're hurting your viewers. You're going to get more viewers on ABC than you're going to get on ESPN. You're going to get more viewers on CBS than you're going to get on TBS. Or I think it's on TBS. What are you doing? It hurts the sport because you're limiting your viewership. I don't care what TNT or TBS paid. I want it on CBS. If you notice, the Super Bowl and the NFL playoffs are on regular TV, except for that one stupid game on the NFL Network or Amazon Prime or whatever. But they missed the whole point. People aren't going to pay to watch one game. They'll just miss it and watch it on YouTube like I did yesterday. Well, actually, I was watching it, but it was on YouTube. I just need to see the game on YouTube. I don't need to see and then have the commercials every 5 minutes. So you have that, which is critical. Now, carrying this forward, so I was watching the fall of bowling. Mark Roth, Earl Anthony, Dick Weber, Don Carter, Don Johnson, Johnny Petrogilma, Larry Law with the double follow through, Marshall Holman, Pete Weber. So in 1980, it was getting 29 million viewers on ABC with Chris Schenkel, Bo Burton, and it was 3:30 on Saturday, and I'd watch every Saturday if I wasn't working. I started working at the grocery store in the mid 70s, and I had to work Saturdays. But I think I taped it and I'd watch it. I bought a VCR in '79. It was $1,000. That was paid for with football money before they all came down to $100. And so when I'd go to work, I'd tape bowling, I'd tape football. Anyway, so 29 million viewers, and now none. You've ruined the sport. Well, they did not adapt to the change. Let's walk through that. What happened? Well, in the late 80s, you got cable TV. So in the 70s and 80s, you had ABC, NBC, and CBS, and they had channel 50, to watch the Piston game, right? The off little channel, right? Morning, Johnsy. So you had that, and so you were limited. It's sort of almost a monopoly, or it was an oligopoly. There's 4 channels, and that's why baseball was so exciting when it was on, or football was always on Sunday afternoons, college on Saturday afternoons, and that was it. There was no Amazon and all that bullshit. And then what happens is here comes the internet, and here comes 100 channels. And bowling moves off of ABC onto, I think, ESPN or HBO, or maybe not HBO, but one of these off channels. And they change hosts, and the venue changes. And instead of 3:30 on a Saturday, you don't even know what time it is on. You don't even know what channel it's on. So it went from every Saturday afternoon at 3:30 with Chris Schenkel on ABC, and then the wide world of sports after. So you're all excited. Oh, what are they going to do? Bobsledding and snowboarding and speed skating and all these neat sports that you never see. I always love wide world of sports. Now you have nothing like it. But here comes ESPN, and they fuck it up. Because who has ESPN? Do we have cable? I don't remember if I got cable in the early 90s or not. I think so. I think when ESPN came out, I think I had it. But am I like, oh, bowling's on now? Probably not. And there's all these other channels. So now you're distracted. Well, I can watch this game, that game, the other game. And it's the same thing that happened to baseball and basketball. Basketball was good in the 80s. Magic and Bird, Kareem, the doctor, Barkley, Drexler, Elijah Wan. And then here come the 90s, and all of a sudden, what channel is it on? See, you're in a rhythm of Saturday, 3:30, ABC bowling. right? And again, 29 million people were watching this. Now it's like 2 million, not 2 people, but and then you started losing your stars. Mark Roth, he's not on his in the late '80s. Earl Anthony, you still had Marshall Holman and Pete Weber. Dick Weber's retired, and so there's the loss of the star power, which is what hurts baseball and basketball. Football, you're lucky you have Mahomes and Burrow now. Otherwise, that would be dead. But the key with football is it's always been on NBC, CBS. They never lost that channel, and there's always been the betting. It's always bet the teaser. I've been doing teasers since 1977. I've been betting since 1969, and that's why we're excited about football. Is the betting, not the football. Football's getting terrible. Let's move the extra point back. Let's put in let's put in the kickoff. Everybody has to stand and hold their hands at the 25-yard line. I mean, it's ridiculous. This isn't the product I want. Well, we don't want anybody get hurt. If the quarterback hits his head, it's a foul. Pass interference, we don't know what it is. And you've totally fucked the game up, right? It's totally gone. It's a different game. You made changes for no reason. And the biggest problem with sports is they're trying to move them to all these channels and all these pay channels. It's ridiculous. Duke choked big time. Well, we had Connecticut in 5.5, so we all made money, and we had that plan. We knew Connecticut was going to win because they have a better coach, and that's what happened. So did they choke? I don't care. I had 5.5 with Connecticut. I'm very happy. So you have to adapt to the changes. You used to go to A&W for hamburgers. It was a drive-in. You drive in, pull up, make the order, and you'd eat in your car. Can't do that now. All these restaurants, Ponderosa, Bonanza, go out. Now it's McDonald's who are struggling with $15 hamburgers. Big Boys is struggling with $14 hamburgers. And I don't even know where to go out to eat. I go to a Coney Island, which who knows what kind of food I'm eating and how they're preparing it. You have malls closing because of Amazon. So the internet is the basic killer of everything we liked when we were younger. All our 70s and 80s, and I grew up in the 70s and the 80s, is gone. Now you've even ruined Vegas. I watched the Las Vegas show with James Caan just to see Vegas with the lights up and all the people and everything like that. I mean, you like old Vegas, you hate it, new Vegas. Where's the lights? They've changed for the wrong reasons. And they're losing money and they're losing people. So I have no desire to go there, which I always love Vegas. So it's very frustrating, but it's keeping up with the time. So what did bowling do wrong? You took it off of ABC at 3:30. It should never have left ABC in 3:30. You did no good doing that. Getting off of ABC at 3:30 was your death, because now you go on ABC at 3:30 on a Saturday and there's not bowling. Where is it? Oh, it might be on one of these off channels, like where wrestling used to be on. And then you get off of that. See, people like me, we want to see it on ABC, NBC, CBS. That's how we grew up. Football would be on that. Baseball, you were always able to see the Tiger game. And I'm sure wherever you guys live, you would always be able to see the Yankees, the Mets, the Cubs. You'd always be able to see that on your normal channel, maybe like the converter channel 50, which I had, but that wasn't a pay channel. So you could always find it, and you can see the Tigers, and you get into it. It's amazing how if you watch the game, if you don't watch the game, I don't even know where the Tigers are. I'm not going to pay to watch the Tigers. They're not worth it. Even if they were worth it, I am not paying to watch them. If it isn't on ABC, NBC, CBS, I'm not interested. If I go to Netflix, I'm going to watch a movie. If I go to Pluto or Tubi, I'm going to watch a movie. And if I go to YouTube, I'm going to watch anything from Gordon Ramsay to poker to bowling to the 86 Masters, whatever is better than what's on TV. You've also lost the star power. There is no Marshall Holman, Dick Weber, Mark Roth, Earl Anthony, or in other sports, as I've said, there's no Mantle, Clemente, Willie Mays. There's the football is missing stars. There's no Montana, Lawrence Taylor. The best you have there is Mahomes. So they're missing the point. These new guys come in and they try to be creative. Hey, let's show the college basketball title game on TBS. Whoever made that comment should be fired. It should be on. You just had the games yesterday on CBS. I'm sure you drew a great audience with Michigan and the Michigan game and the Duke Connecticut game. I'm sure it was a huge rating. And TBS, your ratings are going to get killed. Let's say you get 10 million people. Well, if you put it on CBS, you'd get 20. I don't know why they think people are so adept, or you're trying to force them to pay for channels. Well, we'll put the football game on Amazon. Nobody's buying Amazon to watch the games. Sorry. Because we got enough on our normal. Notice how the NFL keeps the game and college keeps the game mostly on CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox. Most of the games are on there. If you take them away, you kill it. And that's what bowling did. They took it away from ABC at 3:30 with Chris Schenkel and Bo Burton. You get comfortable with them. They did a great job. To ESPN, and who knows what time it was on. I never watched bowling on ESPN. So now bowling has no audience. They've totally killed it. And the reason, you changed. You took it off of ABC for ESPN because ABC bought ESPN and put all their sports on ESPN. Terrible decision by ABC. People get comfortable. People stay married because they're comfortable with their spouse, right? I've been with her for 20 years, so I'm not going to leave her. It's too hard to try to find somebody else, so I'll just leave it. I'll stay with her because we've been together for so long. So when you start making changes just to make the change, thinking, well, everybody will still watch bowling, we'll just put it on ESPN, but they'll still watch it. No, they won't. At 3:30 on a Saturday, they're looking for ABC. If it's not there, they go find something else to watch or do. I know we used to make sure we were home at 3:30. We'd go out to dinner after. That was just standard protocol. I'd watch with my dad, and that was kind of our connection was poker. He'd play poker Friday nights. He'd have bowling Saturday, bowling Tuesday. And then we watched the bowling show Saturday. But that was the connection, and that was the routine, and you broke the routine. Like I say, baseball, you have no stars on it now. The pitching sucks except for Scanes and Fried. I'm not going to call Skubal a pitcher because he's a loser. That's all there is to it. Again, watching the Ghost to the Post with Oakland, Baltimore, and Oakland and John Madden saying it's 4th and 1. If I miss it, I lose the game. So I'm going to kick the field goal. Now it's, you got to go on 4th and 1. I mean, it's just so stupid. But that's the logic. And so you have to understand that. And it's the change that the internet has done. It added channels, but are the channels aren't worth anything. All they show is old shows. And then it kills me. Does CBS actually think they're going to get a better rating with whatever the hell they show Monday night at 9 or 8 versus Fruitport Charter. Don't know. Don't know. Don't care. Don't want to know. Are they so? Do they think the ratings are going to be higher on Monday night for whatever crap they throw on than TBS? Is college basketball out of their minds, taking the money from TBS and losing a lot of audience? Because everybody has access to CBS. I mean, I have an antenna, but everybody has normal channels. To take that away, how many people have TBS? Well, a lot of the people don't have cable anymore, and my internet provider does not have I try to get on TBS, they don't carry it, and I'm not going to pay for it. So I might go to the restaurant and watch the game, but it's a pain in the ass Monday night. We'll get to that. Actually, Saturday night and Monday night. So Saturday night, I got to go watch Michigan, Arizona, and then Monday night, the championship game, and it really sucks. So that's what you have is the bad decisions. People are comfortable. People don't want change. You come here, you know what you're getting from me. We're either going to talk gold and silver. We're going to talk Austrian or classical economics. We're going to talk inflation. And we're going to talk football during football season. And I'm going to go through the games. You know the routine. Now we're going to talk some basketball and baseball. You know the routine. That's what we're going to do. You're comfortable with me, and that's it. And you know what you're going to get. You're going to get roughly 2 hours. We're going to change topics, and you know that. And you come in for your topic, but you're comfortable. You like the way I deliver. You like the content. You like me, and you're comfortable. And if you don't like me, I assume you're not watching. John C. comes every day. He's comfortable. So you don't give up the comfort. You don't make the change just to make the change. So Tesla with the electric car, why are you making the change? Was it a benefit? No. What's the benefit? Nothing. Now I got to charge my fucking battery every day after about 6 months. I got to worry about it in the heat or the cold, if it'll start. Will it catch on fire? And will I be locked in the car because it's electrical and I can't get the fuck out? Why? I have a perfectly good car that runs on gas. Why do I need this other car? And so that's the big problem, right? So these electric cars, there's no need for them. These AI, there's no need for it. Analytics, there's no need for it. Algorithms, there's no need for it. All these things that they're creating, there's no demand for it. So moving basketball to TBS, even the internet, is there a positive to it or is it mostly a negative? What's the positive to the internet? I don't really know. I can do emails. I would say the number one is I can do emails electronically. Okay, that's a good thing. But okay, I can go on YouTube here like I am now. And I can do class instead of an 800 or a 900 number where you leave a message. I could watch Netflix or Tubi, so that's part of that. So I don't know. I mean, that's basically it. And you're doing that, and there's some benefit, but then you got sites like Facebook and Instagram that are just terrible sites. Kids getting addicted to it, or they're just to get liked. And if they don't get liked, they're all depressed. Oh, I didn't get 100 likes. People posting their personal data, big companies like Facebook and Instagram, which is all Facebook, and Twitter steals your information. So the more we get out there, the more problems we have because the information gets stolen. A scammer steals your money out of your bank. There's a lot of problems, right? They get your information, they open up a credit card and use it. You didn't even do it, or your bank or other things. So it becomes a terrible thing. This whole internet thing is more bad than good. It's a tracking device so they can track you. So you got to be very careful. Yeah, okay, I can get my email. Okay, like I said, that's it. That's probably the best thing is to be able to email people. And like I can text. I could use WhatsApp to text Jenna, or I can use Telegram to text Daria, or just text Alyssa or something. Um, that's good. You can communicate with people. That's probably the best thing that you have on there. John C. TK, they have wrestling on Netflix now. It's stupid, and they have it on ESPN. Yeah. See, I'm not even watching wrestling anymore because as soon as the stars left, there's nothing to watch. Um, you know, you get rid of Ric Flair, you get rid of Hulk Hogan, you get rid of Mr. Perfect, the Macho Man, all these people. You get rid of the characters, that's who you wanted to watch. Then it became real stupid with that whole Degeneration X and the crotch thing. It turned me off. Or like, I ain't watching this. He had a little with Stone Cold. You get excited because glass broke. I mean, how stupid is that? But what McMahon did was he feed the market. Whatever the market wanted is what he did. But that's not what bowling did. Bowling made the mistake of getting off of ABC at 3:30 and changed, and then it led to competition. Now there's 50 channels. So maybe people, I think in my mind, the 29 million people that watch bowling were bowling fans. But they showed it like in the 50s and the 60s where you had nothing to do. You weren't going golfing. Maybe you were playing baseball. I'm sure you played baseball or threw the football around, but then you had bowling inside, so you could go bowling. You're not ice skating; it's too expensive. So I think bowling was a good family sport where you'd go with your brother or your father or your sister, and and it's entertainment inside, and it was cheap. And so bowling ruled in the late 50s and through the 60s. Now go find a bowling alley. I haven't bowled in years. Um, it was a neat sport. It was a little bit difficult getting the hook, the spin on the ball, and the loft, as they call it, right? Turning your hand, but not too much, or you turn the hand, or do you throw it sideways? It was like, how do you put loft on the ball, lift on the ball? So you could never. I could bowl like a 150, 160 average, pretty good at spears, but that was the thing. But now you have, I think, a lot left with the internet. Now I can sit at home and play video games. As you asked me yesterday, John C., I don't play them. I don't have time for it, and I find them kind of stupid anyway. Um, it's entertainment, but I get entertained figuring out what's going on with our gold and silver and how to pick the football games. That's entertainment to me. Going 7-1 in college basketball this week is much more entertaining than playing video games. My only loser was Michigan State. I go 7-1, huge week, 4-0 over the weekend, and I can't name one player, but I can name the coaches. Look at the coaches: Patino, Calipari, the guy in Connecticut, the guy at Michigan State. Arizona, I don't know who their coach is, but they got a great team. Illinois, I can't name nothing on Illinois. So Michigan, Daisy Chain is the coach. I have who the hell is he? So that's my entertainment. Going 7-1. Forget the money I made. Going 7-1 is what is the trigger. So I was very happy with that, and we'll do pro basketball and try to figure that out a little bit better. But it's the changes. You know, Basketball went from Oscar Robertson and Wilt, and then Jerry West, and then Kareem comes in, and you get those players. You still had West and Robertson, and then you had Walt Frazier, and then you go to, then there was a drop off in the late '70s. Nobody watched the game, and then when Magic came in, they were showing it on CBS, and Brent Hamburger would do the games, and that's kind of, you need a reason to watch that over the competition. So if you understand, basketball doesn't quite get, there's competition. It's not 247 and 20 and 50 anymore. And why would I want to watch? Why would I want to pay for anything? If I'm paying for the cable, it's $150 a month. So I'm watching whatever's on there. I'm not going to then pay. And if it's like me and I don't have the cable and I dropped it and I do have the internet and I got the antenna, then I can always watch these movies loaded with commercials on Tubi or Pluto. The only thing I pay for is Netflix, $15 a month, and that's it. And I'm not going to chase Amazon Prime and that. You're not giving me enough to pay for it. There's no Mickey Mantle. If there was a Mickey Mantle, I might. But you don't have a Mickey Mantle. You don't have a Willie Mays. They're trying to make Shotani into this Mickey Mantle, and he doesn't speak English. You've lost my interest. I was sitting in the pool yesterday in the hot tub, and there was people speaking Mexican. And I turned to the guy next to me. I said, "You know what I'm sick of is these AT&T commercials in Mexican." Okay, I don't care the guys talking Mexican. I ignore them. But when I'm watching Tubi and there's commercials, all of a sudden there's 2 or 3 commercials in Mexican. That bothers me. We're in America. You keep them in American. You want to have Mexican subtitles? Fine. I don't need to watch a Mexican commercial because we ain't in Mexico and we don't speak Spanish. We speak English. We have no reason to learn Mexican. Although I think they do that in the schools now. I think they force the kids to learn Spanish. Don't know why. Are we being bought up by Mexico or Spain? Really stupid. But you can't compete with the level of NBA and Major League Baseball talent. You can't compete with a good movie or whatever. Or I can go on I can go on YouTube and watch the 74 Sea of Hands game. You can't compete with that, and it's out there, and I can watch Michigan, Ohio State, 1970 and 72, and I can watch Rose Bowls and the Steelers of the 70s. I can watch all that. You can't compete with that. I'm fine watching it again. It's not a problem. So that's what you have, and that's the whole concept from the bowling. So the concept of the bowling, you took it off of ABC at 3:30, and now you have no viewers. You went from 29 million in 1980 to, I think it was 2 or 3 million, if we even know when anything is. Because you don't know where to go, and you don't even know if you have the channel. Maybe it's on ESPN. Yeah, but it's all different. And now it looks stupid. There's like 2 lanes on the side. And some people, no, you can't change it. That's what was so good. You watch an old Showboat or Firestone Tournament of Champion. You're in the middle of the lanes and there's a packed house. That's what you want to see. You don't want to see 2 little lanes off to the side with a brick wall and all. I mean, it's just stupid. And you don't know the players. And then they start this 2-handed bowling. No, that's like the kickoff, and everybody stands holding hands at the 25. So again, that's a big problem. And that's why there's nobody to identify with the bowling to watch it. Who knows what time it's on and what channel it's on. So you can't put it on USA or ESPN or one of these TBS, TNT crap. You can't go to these off channels. You have to keep it on ABC, NBC. And there's nothing on ABC, NBC. What Survivor 50's on. Basically a concept where they don't have to pay the actors. They pay the host, and all the actors are paying for $1 million, and you don't have to pay them. That's TV now. It's like, it's terrible. There's no more Munsters or Batman or any of that. So that's the problem with change. You went to the internet. Should you have? Well, the internet's okay, like I said, for the email and the texting. You can keep in contact with people. That's the only good thing about it. As far as the Twitter, that's just bullshit, and Facebook's even more bullshit, and Instagram's terrible. This is okay where I can teach, and I have my Teaser King site where you can buy my football. So for that kind of stuff, it's okay. But it's a lot of it isn't really neat. We just happen to use it for that, but a lot of it isn't needed. Is Facebook needed? No. Is Twitter needed? No. I like the app, the WhatsApp, where I can text Jenna instead of, how am I going to contact her? And now she's in Germany. How am I going to contact her in Germany? How am I going to contact Daria in Russia? How am I even going to meet Daria in Russia? That's the other thing, is meeting, is finding her and keeping a relationship going for a few years through texting and pictures and videos and all that. And somebody said, well, you haven't met her yet. And I said, well, no, we pretty much know each other because we see each other day to day. She tells me about her daughter, or she tells me personal stuff. That's not what you get just chatting. It's what you got. When I tell you about Alyssa or Daria, that's personal stuff, which is fine. I don't mind that. But you know me more in depth than, Colonel Douglas McGregor, who we don't know at all. We assume he's telling the truth. He comes across like he is. He's a colonel, and we hope so. So that's the thing that you've got to understand, is change. And is change worth it or not? Is it worthwhile? Now you put high fructose corn syrup and everything, which is terrible. You've killed most of the restaurants, very, very few good restaurants. You've killed all these channels. You've killed the movie theaters, because why would I go to a theater? I could watch better movies on Netflix, right? All the James Bond movies are on Netflix now till April 20th. So it kills that. I mean, why would I go to and what's that? The only one I would want to see is Batman Part 2, but guess what? It isn't coming out till October 2027. We got to wait another year for it. What the fuck? How long does it take to make a movie? I mean, it's insanity. And everything's two-parter. Mission Impossible. Just make the mission. No, we got to make it a two-parter. Why? And I don't really like it because it's about AI, like turning real and controlling people. And I'm like, that's the stupidest concept I've ever seen. AI just gathers data. And again, there's another thing that we don't need. We didn't ask for. IT came up with the concept, and then they're selling the stock. NVIDIA is going up. Doesn't have earnings. It's not a useful tool. You cannot replace your workers with it, but they say you can. People are buying it and ordering it. You got to program it. It's not just going to come ready. You got to program it. I see AI when I do Google searches. It's all it is, this team won the world. Who won the World Series in 1968? The Tigers. Okay. That's what I get on AI. Well, I don't need AI to get that information. I could just search Google and get it, or get a Webster's dictionary definition of, I don't know. So it becomes IT-driven things that we don't need. Algorithms, analytics. We don't need analytics. Doesn't do anything. It's still in the NFL. It's still the best defensive team wins, not go for it on fourth down. I mean, that doesn't win you any games. All it does is get about 10 coaches a year fired because analytics says like Baltimore, that coach is a moron. I'm going to play Lamar Jackson. If you were just coaching, you would never have put Lamar Jackson at quarterback. He'd be your wide receiver like Hines Ward, Anton Randall L. A few other quarterbacks played receiver because they're not good quarterbacks. And there's another one, Freddie Solomon on the Niners, quarterback at Tampa, which is probably UCF now. And he played wide receiver on the Super Bowl team with Joe Montana and Dwight Clark. That's what quarterbacks who were fast, good athletes played. Now you've got them there because now analytics has said, oh, you got to run the guy more. So these are the big problems, letting IT people make decisions for you and you being too stupid to not analyze, does this really work or not, or what should I do? And that's really the problem. And so this is the problem we're struggling with, is dealing with competition. Bowling couldn't handle the competition, but they fucked bowling, or bowling fucked themselves by not insisting it's ABC at 3:30. They probably took the money and said, oh, we get more money on the USA Network or ESPN. So they took the money and ruined their product. So short-term gain for long-term pain. So Russia, they're bombing. This is my text from my buddy from Alabama. He lives in South America, running a gold mine. They're cutting out WhatsApp in all BRICS countries. Doesn't bother me because Daria, we've been using Telegram anyway lately. We used to WhatsApp, and now it's Telegram. But even that, I haven't heard from Darius since March 24th. And she made a comment. I might not be able to use it. I'll email you. So I've been emailing her every day, and I've been texting her on Telegram, and no sign. It just says she hasn't been on since May 24th. Well, I'm sure it's killing her to not read my messages and not text me as much as it's killing me. Again, it's the routine, and it's important to me to hear from her every day and know she's safe and everything. Okay. So it's like a shopping mall. So with the internet came Amazon, and everybody, for some reason, says, hey, I'll buy a shirt from Amazon. Well, I would never buy clothes from Amazon. I don't know that they fit. They changed all the sizes now. This is like an XL, but now it would be a triple XL. Right? This is my Michigan 2004 Rose Bowl, when they actually didn't cheat to win it. And this is an XL, and you can see how big it is on me. But now if I go to the store for an XL, I can't even get it around my shoulders or my chest. It's too narrow. John C., shopping malls are closing left and right. Well, because they're all idiots. They're going online, going to Amazon, paying for shipping and buying it, or the DoorDash. Yeah, I'm going to call up McDonald's and have them deliver because I'm too lazy to get into the car and drive to McDonald's. I mean, that's insulting. So that's really what you're looking at, is all the changes going on. So people are now, and it's cause and effect. The Titanic hit the iceberg, the water's coming in. You have to abandon the boat also, and get into the lifeboat. So you have to change. The boat's no longer safe. You get into the lifeboat. And in our case, it's gold and silver. So we're adapting. So we do it in our gold and silver. So this is no longer worth anything. So we have to adapt to this. Amazon comes along, and Amazon, so instead of going to the grocery store for this, I got to buy it on Amazon. That theory. And I much prefer, and probably because I'm older and I'm used to it, going to Myers or Target or Kroger's and buying my food there. I can look at it. I can feel my avocados. I can go, yeah, this looks good. And I can squeeze it, go, yeah, that's a good, that's going to be a good one. This is a tasty one. My meats, all that, all my food I can go get. And that's what I want. And uh, people are getting lazier and lazier staying home so they can play video games. And that's the other thing. Now you've got video games, and so the computer and video game are replacing TV. I know a lot of people don't even have TVs anymore. There's a few people, when I was working at Mercedes, I don't have a TV. I just have my computer. And so they're getting away from TV. So they don't need TV. They don't need VCR. The younger kids are so into video games, they're not going out and playing baseball and football and basketball. And that's another reason the talent sucks. I would play all day in the summer. I would play baseball. Right, we'd go get some friends and go to our high school or junior high school, wherever we were, and we would play. And now, we'd get 10, 20 kids. Now you don't even have the connection, and I'm going to do that. So there's less development going on, which hurts baseball. And now baseball is stupid enough to not be on normal TV. And therefore there's no, well, we'll charge and everybody will pay. And they would get 10 times more money if they would just leave it on ABC and CBS and Fox. But that costs money. So I think what they're doing is it's less expensive to join FanDuel and televise my games on FanDuel than it is on ABC or CBS or whoever carries the games. It used to be the off-channel, channel 50, because it was probably cheaper than ABC and it would carry it. So what is that network that you can get? And I don't know what it is, but that's the problem with baseball now. So it's cheaper to carry the game on FanDuel than it is ABC, but then but you're assuming then people are going to actually buy FanDuel to watch it, which we're not. They might get a few million people on FanDuel, which I doubt, and then they're faking the numbers, but then, you get 10 times more on CBS or Fox or whatever. So they have the game of the week Saturday night. The Yankees were playing the Niners. I saw like an inning or two of that and said, no, this is too boring. And I guess it must be for college basketball. I can't believe they don't have the money to put the national title game and the Final Four on CBS. And then you would introduce the Masters because the Masters would be the following week. Well, you're on TBS. You're not introducing the Masters. Now you don't even know when the Masters is on, which would be an automatic, like next weekend. Next weekend's Easter. Final Four, the weekend after should be the Masters. But will we know that? No, because it's so scrambled eggs now that it's all different. You don't have it's like I went to the pool the other day, last Sunday, and the pool closed at 3:30 because they were doing this Easter family crap. And for some reason they closed the hot tub because you had to pay to use the pool from, I think it was 4:30 to 5:30, having this Easter bullshit, right? I don't know why anybody would pay. Just go to the pool at 3:00. And I didn't know that. Nobody told me it was closing at 3:30. I got there at 3, went on the bike. And then at 3:30, I go down and the pool's closed. I go, what's going on? Oh yeah, we're having this Easter thing. Why didn't you tell me? I would have went to the hot tub at 3:00, then went in the pool, and then went on the bike after, because the bike's open till 6:00 on Sunday. And again, it's no communication. So you don't know when the Masters is. You don't know when any of these turn. It just happens to be on. They do such a bad job with it. Now it's ball velocity. Who gives a fuck how hard the guy hit the golf ball? Nobody cares. It's way too busy and they're ruining everything, or the fact that we're comfortable with the way it was and there's no advantage to changing it. Did anybody ask to see the ball speed or the speed off the bat if you're watching a baseball game? Nobody cares. Most of the players in baseball, I have no idea who they are, nor do I care about any of them. I'm not a Shotani fan. I think he's an idiot. Learn English. I have a big problem with these guys coming to our country and they don't know English. And you want me to root for him. I don't care if he never learns English, but I'm not going to root for a guy that can't speak English in America. Now, if I'm in Japan, that's a whole different story. Then it's up to me to learn Japan or find somebody who can help me. Like when I go to Ukraine, they do speak English. Romania, they speak English very well. Italy, I found they didn't speak English very well. Mostly just Italian, especially where I was on the Amalfi Coast. It was very Italian. Most countries, I think Spain spoke English. Portugal spoke mostly Portuguese. The restaurants seem to speak English because it's money to them, and they're going to learn English. They want the American dollar. I wonder how it's going to be for me to travel in a year or two, because everybody hates America now. So I don't know if I can say I'm American. So it's the changes that are being done that aren't wanted. I'd like to go to Ponderosa or Bonanza and get a nice steak and a salad bar, but I can't. They're not open, and there's really no place that has that. So I either go to a Coney Island, go to one of these bar type restaurants with the TVs, and I'm paying $20 for a hamburger. Chinese is all fried, and the only one I go to, which I like, is the Boneyard, the barbecue, because it's what I'm used to, what I always have had. I've been going there since I think when my kids were 4 and 5 years old. I've been going there. I remember taking my kids there. I remember going before I had kids. We loved the barbecue chicken and the barbecue ribs. It was always a nice place to go. And there wasn't much competition for it. People started getting into chicken breast instead of the half barbecue chicken. I'm eating a half a chicken. I'm eating a half a slab of ribs. I mean, that now I'm eating. So it becomes the change. They want you to adapt, but it's not the benefit. Just like now at work, I was at Tenneco and it was all Indians. And then I heard that's the way they get around these visas and all this other shit. The company benefits from having a bunch of Indians. So the Americans don't get to work because the company benefits by having Indians. Okay, great. So I can't find a job. I was applied to 3 jobs in the last 2 weeks and I've heard nothing. One at GM, one at Ford Health, and the one last week at this senior living where they buy up the communities. So it's like a 10 building senior apartments. So I didn't get that job, which I couldn't understand. 20 years experience and a master's, and I can't get the job. I've been told I'm too old and too expensive. Then why did you interview me? That's what I don't get. They interview me, but that's even that change. How do I adapt to that change? I would take whatever. I'll take less money. I still can't get it. It's still, I don't know what it is. I assume it's my age. I'm assuming it's because I'm not an Indian man or a woman. These little things that they're getting, and they're getting bonuses by the government to hire. So the incentive is to hire a woman or a minority. Now he's a white male. No, and he's too old and he wants too much money. So I don't know, that's why I got gold and silver. That's my retirement. And It's the best thing to have her at this point. It's the only thing not losing value. So you got to be careful. Hitting the iceberg causes the boat to sink. And for you to get on the lifeboat, it causes change. There's a cause and an effect. Cause you hit the lifeboat, the effect is the boat sinks and you need a lifeboat. And that's what happened with bowling. And that's what happened with the good restaurants. And then it brings in analytics, the cause and effect. You bring in analytics, and all the managers keep getting fired because they're stupid enough to listen to the analytics. Nobody questions, are the analytics correct? In Moneyball, Oakland A's have never won the title since Reggie Jackson in the 70s. They brought on all these guys to walk and run the pitch count up. It's ruined baseball. Does it work? No. It doesn't work. The NBA, all these teams shooting three-pointers because 3 points is worth more than two, even though your percentage is maybe 20% versus a layup's probably 98% of the time you're going to make those versus 20% you're going to make a three-point shot. So I can make a whole lot more twos than threes based on my percentage. But again, this is why the league's so bad. There's not enough good three-point shooters. But you want to play this three-point ball without three-point shooters. It's like having a running offense in the NFL without a running back, without a good offensive line. Like Oakland, they're trying to run and they can't because their offensive line sucks. Kansas City wants to be passing because they got Mahomes. They don't have the receivers. Kelsey's getting too old. I can't believe they signed him to a 3-year contract. That was so stupid. He's done. Why can't they see it? Or maybe they can't replace him. We're getting a lot of that. So as these changes come into place, you have to look at it and see the change and you react to it. The boat hit the iceberg. Now what do I do? And you have that in all these situations. The restaurants suck. The food's getting poisoned with high fructose corn syrup. So what do I do? Amazon comes in, all these malls are going out. The internet comes in, bowling goes out because cable comes in and gives you 100 channels. And so instead of watching bowling, it goes away. But what happened to bowling, I believe, is you lost Mark Roth and Marshall Holman and Earl Anthony, Johnny Petraglia. You had Pete Weber, but that was it. And then nobody knows what time it's on or what channel it's on. That, I think, was the biggest thing that bowling did to themselves, was get off of ABC at 3:30 and get on to, the USA Network or ESPN or whatever. You can't do that. Not enough people have ESPN, but it was probably cheaper for them. But they cut off their nose to spite their face, so they saved a few dollars by having it on this channel, but they lost all their viewers, which made them lose their sponsors, which made them lose the commercials. So you saved a little bit on ESPN, but you didn't realize that you just killed yourself. So now you can't even find what time's bowling on, what channel is it on. Have no idea. Who's in it, have no idea. And I don't like how bowling changed to this guy throwing two-handed instead of one-handed. That turned me off right there. I saw that, these guys throwing two-handed, and I said, I can't watch this. That's not bowling. That's a different sport. If you want to have two-handed bowling, have that sport, and one-handed bowling, I'll watch. And it's the same with this flag football. You want to have flag football, have flag football. There's no demand for it. Nobody cares. The whole key to football is we bet on it. We're not betting on flag football. We don't care. Why is it in the Olympics? It's not even a real sport. Why don't they just have two-hand touch? So a lot of that is we don't care. You're trying to make something there's no demand for. Again, it'll fail. I don't even know who's going to get into that. You're going to pay these players? Oh, really? You're going to have crowds of what, 20 people? So again, you have to watch what happens. And that's the key. So bowling goes out and these restaurants go out. The food gets killed with the high fructose corn syrup. And it's the change, but the change isn't for the better. The change is for the worse. there's very few changes that have been better. Electric cars, a bad change. The internet, like I said, it's good for a few things. It allows me to broadcast as opposed to call me on a 900 number for my bets. But I'd much rather do this. I can explain myself. I can text Jenna and Daria on these apps, although not on WhatsApp. All the BRICS countries are off of WhatsApp now, so I can't do that, which is really going to hurt the Indian people because there's a lot here that probably were WhatsApping there, so they're going to have to get Telegram or something. So was the internet about in a little way the cause and effect of Amazon has closed malls, closed a lot of stores where people are just lazy. I don't think DoorDash is going to close any restaurants. I think most people are still going to the restaurant now. I notice more people my age or older. I go to Big Boy. I'm the youngest guy there usually. Even at Coney Island, I'm the youngest guy there. I don't know where the kids are eating at, if it's McDonald's or DoorDash. If they're home playing video, my idea of a kid now is they're home playing video games and they order DoorDash if they have any money at all and get it. And they're all playing Bitcoin because they don't know what they're doing and Bitcoin's going up. And this is, but as they grow older, they can't manage, they can't talk to people, they can't interact at all, and they're all stupid because they just go on AI and see what AI. They don't learn anything. They're not learners. They're not communicators, and this is definitely the problem I see. So with that cheery news, let's go look at college basketball. What a happy day in college basketball. I go 7-1 this Thursday through Sunday. So let's go to scores. So Thursday, and we went over this. So Thursday, Purdue 79-77. We have Purdue under, which wins. Well, let's just talk about our bets. Our first bet was Houston under 144. They play a 120. That's a winner. Then we have 3 games on Friday. We have St. John's plus 6.5. They lose by 5 to Duke, 80-75. We have Michigan. No, we didn't play Michigan. We have Michigan State plus 2.5. They lose by 4 to Connecticut because they follow at the end instead of trying to get the steal. And then we have Iowa State, Tennessee, 138, and we are under 139. So the winner is Houston under, St. John's and 6.5, Iowa State under, and we lose Michigan State. We're 3-1 on the Thursday, Friday. Saturday, then we have Illinois under 139. They play a 130 game, and we have Arizona minus 5.5. They win 79-64. That's 2-0. Yesterday, we have Michigan minus 7.5, wins by 33. And we have Connecticut plus 5.5. They win 73-72. So we go 4-0 on the weekend. We go 3-1. It gives us a 7-1 weekend. I cannot name one player, but it's not necessary because I can name the coaches of some of the teams. But by watching how they play other teams, I learned the team. And that's what I learned. I learned I can take Connecticut in 5.5. Did I know they were going to win? No. I thought they'd keep it close. And basically, once it got to the last 2 minutes, the game was close. Connecticut, well, I also liked under 133.5, but they played a 145. So as it gets close at the end, there's more scoring, more following. But I didn't play that. I played the 5.5. So I go 7-1 in college. So let's look at next weekend. Incredibly, on TBS Saturday night at 6 o'clock and 8:49, and it's Easter Saturday or Easter Sunday. We've got Illinois 2.5, 139.5. Illinois 2.5 over Connecticut. Well, that's all right. So we'll take Connecticut plus 2.5, and now we're going to go 3 units. Enough of the 2 unit. Now that I have a better idea of the team, Illinois beat Iowa. They didn't really beat a good team there. And our last one, Michigan, Arizona. Michigan's a 1.5 point favorite, 157. We're going to take Arizona plus 1.5, and that'll be 3 units. So now we're going to go to 3 units. So we have more confidence. We have Arizona, the best team is a dog, and then Connecticut. How can Connecticut be a dog to Illinois? I mean, that's ridiculous. That makes no sense. Now, if that holds, we'll take Arizona in the final. We're taking Arizona to win it all. So Connecticut plus 2.5, Arizona plus 1.5. We're basically taking the dogs because we know the dogs can win, but especially Connecticut and Arizona as dogs are crazy. Why is Michigan favored? That makes no sense. All right. Let's go to the NBA. Yesterday we had 2 plays. We won Portland, and we lost the Boston over. Okay. Let's see. We have Miami over 245. Miami's way over. That's a winner. It was 135, 118. The Heat, Indy beats the Heat. They play a 253. We're over 245. Miami is an over team. They score a lot, and they have no defense. The Clippers and the Bucks. The Clippers won 127, 113. They did not cover the 17.5 without Antelope playing or whoever that Giannis guy is for Milwaukee. They do score. They stink, but they score. So you can't lay the big points. And San Diego goes way over 240. I didn't play the game at all because I didn't know what Milwaukee would do without their guy. The Nets beat the Kings. I didn't play this. The Nets 116. The Kings 99 in Brooklyn. Brooklyn was laying 1.5. Oh no, I had Sacramento over 221, and it was a 215 game. So that loses. The over loses. Again, it was hard to pick because they both suck. Now you're going to call Brooklyn tanking? Brooklyn won the game. Well, Sacramento's tanking. No, they're going on the East Coast. Nobody tanked in this game. 116.99. You can't say Brooklyn's tanking because they would have not lost they would have lost to Sacramento to get a higher draft seed. There is no draft. There's no tanking. It's just a made-up word by these analysts so they can be on TV or whatever. Portland, our game, wins 123-88 over Washington. They win by 98, 108, 118, 35 points. We're laying 16.5 W for the Teaser King family. Toronto 139-87. We are over 225. We get 16, 11. We got 226. That's the winner. The line went to 226.5, and it didn't get there. But when we bet it, it was 225 and a 6. Carry the 1, 9, 12. Yeah, it's 226, and we needed over 225. Fabulous. But notice how the line went up, but they didn't cover. Raptors going a 31-0 run en route over the Magic. Interesting. Boston 114-99. That was our loser. We got over 216, and they played a 213 game. So we were close, but no cigar. But Boston wins 114-99. Charlotte's been playing well. Houston 134 to New Orleans. We had New Orleans in 5.5. That was a loser, but not a bet. That's why I can't bet it, but I took them as a home dog. El Paran Senga. Who the hell is that? Rockets roll. So he did good. 134-102. Can we count on Houston to do this? And New Orleans is a pretty good team sometimes, I guess. The Knicks and Oklahoma. We win. They're laying 8.5. We win. They win 111-100. Total was 211, and the total was 224 in the bet. So we win with the 8.5. And our last game, Denver 116, Golden State 93. We go over 238, and it's 209. It didn't get there. Golden State didn't score without Steph Curry. So once in a while they score, they don't. Denver didn't score. So the Lakers, I see Luca Brasi's sitting out because of a suspension tonight, I think. So we end up hitting Portland, minus 16.5, losing Boston over. Now, Boston is a good defensive team, but once in a while, Charlotte was a pretty good team that didn't show up. And Oklahoma laying 8.5 to the Knicks. They win by 11. In Oklahoma over 224, they go under 211. So sometimes you get over these unders. I think when they play back-to-back games, they get tired. Today, let's see if there's anything. Philly goes to Miami. Now, Philly supposedly got their scores. Miami got embarrassed yesterday. They did play an over game, so we're going to go over here. We'll go Miami over 246. Against Philly. I don't know. Philly got their guys back, have been scoring. Miami played a huge game yesterday. So otherwise, Philly's 1.5. Do I take Miami at home? Philly, I don't know enough. Boston goes to Atlanta. Again, Boston is playing under games when you think Atlanta an over team. Atlanta's favored by 1.5, 222. So I'm going to take Boston plus 1.5, but I'm not going to bet it. Hard to ignore Boston as a dog, right? It's like Mahomes as a dog. Chicago and San Antonio. San Antonio laying 18.5, 243. I like this game over, and I will play it. San Antonio over 243. We'll go 2 units. I like that because Chicago is an over team. They will score, but they can't play defense. San Antonio scores a lot. How can you lay 18.5 here? I think Chicago is a strong dog here, getting 18.5, but this is why I go to the totals. Phoenix goes to Memphis. Phoenix 12.5, 229. Again, you got a big road favorite. Memphis 229. I would say this game will go over. Arizona over 229. I'm not going to bet it. Minnesota against Dallas. Now, in this game, Anthony Edwards is playing. So we got surprised the other day. They beat Dallas, and then we bet him, and he doesn't play, which we don't know. And then I looked in the news, and he's playing today. So Minnesota, because all of a sudden Minnesota's laying 7.5. Total at 235. I'm going to go Minnesota over 235, but I'm not going to bet it. Cleveland goes to Utah. Cleveland 17.5, 243. I'm going to go Cleveland over 243, but I'm not going to bet it. The Pistons go to Oklahoma. Oklahoma 11.5 over this wonderful Piston team, 218. So I'm going to take Oklahoma minus 11.5. I'm not going to bet it. I don't know who the Pistons are. Why is the spread so high? I know Richie Cunningham's probably still out, but all of a sudden these other guys are scoring. They blew out the game the other night, so I don't know. And then Washington goes to L.A. Luka suspended one game after 16 technical foul. Why would they suspend him? And why is Luca Brasi, what's he trying to kill everybody in The Godfather? Keeps threatening and keeps getting technical fouls. So the Lakers 15.5 without Luka, I can't. And then it makes it over under a 235. Again, you don't have Luca Brasi. Washington's terrible. It's a game you can't bet. I'd say I'm take the Lakers under 235. If you don't have Luca Brasi, who scores 50 points here and there, it's going to hurt their defense. Question is, why is Luca Brasi shooting all these three-pointers when he's 7 feet tall? But Washington's so bad, they'll probably get blown out. I have no thought of taking Washington in 15.5, but without Luca, I can't take the Lakers. So it's either take Washington or not. I don't want to take Washington. And then it's 235, which is normally an over, but I'm going to play it under because Washington basically stinks. Any news we need to know about? Where to watch the game? Who cares? NBA tanking tracker march, daily look at the race to the draft. This is not tanking. See, this is like the Fed, right? They call it tanking, so everybody believes it. They call they call inflation prices increase, and everybody believes it, but that's not what it is. The inflation is the money printing, making the money lose value. That's what inflation is, period. The money's lost value, so it takes more dollars to buy most of the goods. But then if the supply, like in oil, goes down and cocoa goes down, the price goes up. And then if the demand goes through the roof, like gold and silver, and the price also goes up, and both of those are not inflationary. They're just price increases. So people take it and just blend it into, well, if the prices go up, it's inflation. That's why they raise interest rates. The theory is we'll raise interest rates, which will make things cost more, so there'll be less buyers because they know if the prices go up, you kill the economy. People won't pay. Like we're not going to pay $10 for a box of Oreo cookies. Ain't going to happen. I was in the locker room explaining to a guy yesterday. He was a trader, and I just lit him up. And, I started talking gold and silver. I says, inflation is not prices going up. Inflation is money printing. And just the whole thing. And it blew his mind. I had him so outclassed. The guy didn't know where he was. John C. Luca Brasi. Yeah. I don't think he spelled it that way, but we'll go with it. Shopping malls are closing. So again, it's Amazon. The cause of Amazon is the iceberg hitting the Titanic, and then it has an effect. The cause of the money printing has an effect called ruining the money. The war is expensive, but it doesn't include revenue. So when the U.S. is attacking Iran, you got to pay for all these shells and missiles and all these soldiers there and the boats, and you're getting boats sunk, so you got to make new boats. And the jets, they're getting shot down. These are $30 million jets. How are you going to replace them? but there's no revenue in it. That's the problem with war. Unless you're Hitler stealing the gold, there's no revenue in war. You go kill the other guy and they kill you. There's no benefit to that, and it's expensive, and then off you go. So that's the big problem with wars. They're very expensive. They've always bankrupted all the countries. It caused World War I. It was devastating. World War II was devastating. We got the gold from the British because we forced them to buy our weapons from us in gold. Now, we didn't do that with Russia. For some reason in Russia, we wanted them to beat the Germans. We gave them the tanks and the planes and all the other stuff. How do you think Russia had all these tanks? Because they didn't have the capability to do it. We gave them the military for it. We probably gave them the tanks. Anyway, so that's the problem with war. There's no revenue. You're losing money, right? And this is the problem. So that's the effect of the war. The cause is the war. The effect is that. Now you're hurting the oil supply. Now the Strait of Hormuz is open if you're using yuan. It's only closed if you're using dollars. So people get a little carried away going, well, wait, the Strait of Hormuz is closed. It's not closed. China can get their oil through. Japan pays in yuan, can get their oil through. I think Pakistan pays in yuan, and I believe India pays in yuan. So there's really no shortage. The U.S. gets 1% of their oil from the Strait of Hormuz, so who gives a fuck if it's closed? Even if there's a little less supply because of all these bombings there, the U.S. makes more oil, Russia makes more oil, and there's your oil. And now they make more to make up for the shortage. There's no shortage, but they increase the price on you, right? So they're not good boys. So that's what we have, and then there's always the effect. So then what do? Well, here's Amazon, but if you don't like Amazon, you want to go to the mall, but where are you going? The mall's, the mall's not an option. The mall's closed because there's nobody going to the mall. They'd rather stay home and play games and order DoorDash, or I don't even know where you go to the restaurants anymore. There's so little restaurants to choose from. Alyssa was going to take me out for my birthday. Where do you want to go? Oh, go to Boneyard, or we can go to Texas Roadhouse, or one of the two. She said, well, you go to Boneyard a lot. I go, where else can I go? I don't want to go to Coney. I really don't trust what they're serving me. Boneyard's at least the chicken. I know what that is. And a baked potato, you can't fuck up. And coleslaw, all right, or maybe a little with the mayonnaise. So it's basically, I know what I'm eating. That's why or if I get ribs, it's at least it's meat. So I don't really trust what Coney, it's going to be the cheapest ingredients. I'm sure they're using vegetable oil, which is terrible for you, and all that. So anyway, that's the problem. Where else can we eat at? Now, I did take a drive when I went to when I had to get my gold appraised. Well, not appraised, but I had to get the market price. I remember it was March 1st, and I remember it was 5,300 or 5,100 at the time. So it's not bad. It's almost 4,600 now, and it'll bounce back. But the cause of printing money is the dollar loses value, and then you go to the gold and silver are the helpers. And when you do the internet, you're creating a lot of alternate universes. We used to go play baseball and football with our friends. Now we don't. We used to go ride our bikes with our friends. Now we don't. Now we're staying home playing video games. We're on sites like TikTok and that. Where before we obviously, if we wanted, we'd talk to our friends. So then it leads to, you don't know how to talk because you're busy texting everybody and not talking. I wish my daughter a happy birthday. She says, thank you. And she texts me. She doesn't call me. I mean, the thing's crazy, right? So what do? You can't. These are the effects that aren't realized. Oh, we'll just have the internet, and we'll have all these little websites, and we'll have these stupid apps, and basically, oh wait, my kids can't talk anymore. They're going to text, and then when they try to talk to their friends, it's all texting, and then they lose the communication. They don't play sports because they sit on their video games. My daughters did play softball, and they did play fast pitch also. They didn't have to. I never forced them to play. It was there. One of their friends was playing, so my oldest started to play. And then when she played, my youngest saw she wanted to play, and I was fine. So I coached them, but I didn't say, "Hey, you got to play softball." I asked if they wanted to. At first, I asked my oldest. She said, "No, I don't want to." Then her friend did, and now all of a sudden she wants to play. Anyway, um, so we have that, and so you've got to keep an open mind. When the Fed prints money, that's bad. That's bad. The money gets hurt. But then you have to move to you have to solve the problem, gold and silver. Uh, the whole Amazon thing, boom. This whole AI thing, people will rely on that. They won't think anymore. There's always electric vehicles, but nobody's running to that. They're going to die because everybody wants gas vehicles. So it's always that. It maybe works, maybe doesn't. The computer, the laptop, people aren't buying TVs, hurting the TV industry, but it really doesn't help the laptop industry because I've had this for a few years now. You're not buying one like you would a TV. Now I'm old school, so I have a TV and I watch on the big screen. I can't imagine watching Netflix on this little screen, but I'm used to a bigger screen. So it goes through everything, right? Women are much different now. Even asking them out, you don't know, and then they text you, and it's all. Um, People say to me, "Well, you haven't met Daria yet. It's different when you meet her." Now I know that. I used to go meet the girls in the Ukraine and Romania after my divorce. I'd go there, and it was always a little funny to meet, and then after that, everybody got comfortable, and everybody was fine. They go, "Yeah, you're just what I thought you were." I remember Irina told me that. I says, "Well, then what do you think of me in person?" She says, "You're just what I thought you were." So most of the girls, they come with their girlfriends, they meet me, and then they send the girlfriends away. Okay, now I'm fine with them. And again, I'm an American, and I'm nice, respectful. So they just assume I'm a millionaire, even though I tell them. Carmen told me, she says, "Well, you must fly first class all the time." And I go, I've flown first class once, and that was on my honeymoon. We were flying out to San Diego, and we said it's our honeymoon, and we got first class seats. Otherwise, that was it. I never flew for. Why pay extra to get on the same flight? Uh, Never did that. I mean, it's to me, it was a waste of money. So anyway, you have all these issues. Uh, the fast foods drove out the Ponderosas, the McDonald's, the Wendy's, but now their products suck and they're serving bad food. Again, this has hurt sports when more kids are playing on their video games. They're not out playing baseball and basketball and football. So you have a very watered down league. You have 30 teams. You don't have enough talent for 30, which is amazing. They keep trying to push soccer, but nobody cares about it. Yeah, the people that come from the other countries, people that cross the border from Mexico play soccer. The Americans don't. We play football, baseball, basketball, but even that, you drive by a junior high school and there's a soccer field. Not where's the football field? So you have that. So it becomes things change. So people aren't playing baseball. They don't want it. There's no Mickey Mantle to root for, or Clemente or Mays. So when you grow up, you're seeing crap. So you're not interested. Tennis, you had Jimmy Connors and McEnroe and Borg and Lendl. I don't know who you have now. I don't even watch it. Golf, you're in big trouble with golf. You have nobody. Rory McIntyre, that's it. Or McIlroy, that's it. There's nobody else. The Scotty Scheffler guy's terrible. He's the world's number one. I always hate that world number one ranked based on what? I mean, it's so bullshit. But I don't like him. So it's like Duke. You hate Duke. So if they're the best, you don't want to watch it. So you got Rory. You don't have Jack. Again, Tiger Woods gets in another car accident, rollover. What a loser that guy turns out to be, right? Great golfer, but he hasn't played in 10 years. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. How do you roll your car over in a subdivision? I guess it was his subdivision. Obviously, his mind's on probably the girl sitting next to him or something. Sounds like an idiot, Tiger Woods. Um, so again, you're not watching golf because there's nobody in it, so it's going to die. Now, golf's at least still on NBC or CBS or like the Masters. I'll watch. I only watch the majors now. The U.S. Open, you want to see just to see it. Not really. I don't. I'm not rooting for anybody. I think none of them are any good. Um, Hockey, I don't. I couldn't name a player. You had Bobby Orr, you had Bobby Hull, Gordie Howe, and then that left. You get Gretzky and Lemieux, and then nothing. Baskets, Magic, Jordan, and Bird, and now who? Who's the best player in the NBA now? There's no Shaq, no Kobe. I got Richie Cunningham on Detroit. He's not the best. Luca Brasi, who cares? Wimbyamba, Antelope. I mean, these are. I'm not watching these guys. So it becomes then it's all 3-point shooters. I watched 5 minutes of it over the weekend, and it was like this is way too boring to watch because it's very repetitive. They'll shoot a three off balance, he misses, they get the rebound, they go up, they shoot a three. Okay, what else is on? There's no flavor to it. Baseball, there's nobody. There's nobody. Maybe Bryce Harper, maybe Bichette, Guerrero. They're okay. They're no Clemente, Mays, Mantle. They're nobody in that class. There's no pitchers. And all the pitchers, it's 6 innings, I got to come out. I'm a baby. And it affects you. You're like, fuck, I'm not watching that. I'm not paying attention. Plus, it's not even on regular TV most of the time. So if I did want to watch the Tigers today, don't know what channel. Let's see, what channel are they on? So let's go to. Let's see what baseball's doing today. Here's the matchups. And that's yesterday. We got Minnesota at KC. We got Woods Richardson at Bubik. And KC's a 160 favorite with Bubik. Baltimore, Bassett against Leader. These pitchers are still with 0 ERAs, haven't pitched yet. Baltimore 119-9. Would you go over or under? Who knows? Miami, Paddock against D. Martin. Again, none of these pitchers have pitched yet. 133 Miami with an 8. Cincinnati, Burns against Ashcraft. Ashcraft is now on Pittsburgh. I think it was on Cincinnati last year. Burns and Cincinnati's a 127 favorite, 8 total. And then we got Philly 165 with T. Walker going against F. Griffin of Washington. Yeah, you're not making me watch. Toronto, Ponce against Sugana. No ERAs yet. Toronto's a 271 favorite over Colorado, probably because Colorado sucks. But how do you lay 271? But if you take Colorado, you only get 242. Oakland against Atlanta. Atlanta's a 130 favorite. Elder against Lopez. So you still don't have a pitcher going for the second time yet. We got the Cubs in California. Cubs 177. Cabrera against Randy Johnson Jr., I guess. R. Johnson for California. Milwaukee 158 over Tampa. Nick Martinez for Tampa. Kay Harrison for Milwaukee. The Mets in St. Louis. The Mets are favored. Holmes over Lehigh. Holmes for the Mets. Lehigh for St. Louis. And St. Louis, the Mets are favored 140 and a 9 ERA. Boston and Houston, we've got Boston 112 favored. Suarez against McCullough. Now, I have heard of McCullers. That's it, but nothing yet this year. The Yanks in Seattle. The Yanks 108, Seattle 101, just because it's the Yankees. Weathers versus Castillo, neither have pitched yet. So the 49ers and the Chargers. The Chargers minus 111. Walker Buehler is now on San Diego against L. Rupp for the Niners. Cleveland goes to the Dodgers. The Dodgers automatically 181. Sasaki against Messick. This is where the league's really screwed up. No salary cap, and the Dodgers have like all these high-priced players. Cleveland has what, 2 hitters that can hit? So yeah, so you would bet the Dodgers because Cleveland can't hit. Now I don't know if they can pitch. And then Detroit goes to Arizona. Arizona's 111. We got Soroka for Arizona and Verlander for the Tigers. I'd be all over Arizona there. They played the Dodgers pretty good, but Verlander at 43 years old is not Verlander at 23 years old. He's going to struggle. So I actually like Arizona here, 111. The total is 9, so they're thinking Verlander's going to suck too. But where's the game on? I don't know. Where's the TV? Let's see matchups. Here, I love this. The score predictor: Detroit 4.74, Arizona 4.28. How are they going to get 4.74? Detroit will win. See, now if people are stupid enough to look at this predictor and bet, they shouldn't be betting. This is the problem. Now, again, we want to see. So we go to Yahoo to see. Let's go to Major League Baseball. This game's on DSN. What's that, Disney Channel? So how do I watch it? I can't. And this is the problem with the game. You have it on a network that nobody has. So you're gonna just buy this DSN channel? Are you kidding me? I'm gonna buy it to watch this game. How about if the other games are on other channels? So I'm not going to pay to watch baseball. It should be on normal channels, and you certainly have that. So this must be the league being cheap with the channel, saying we're not going to be on Fox every day, or there's no like channel 50. The Tigers used to be on like Pass or something, but you could watch channel 50. You'd watch the games. And then you could get into the team. I can't get into the team. I can't watch the game. I don't know what anybody looks like, except for Verlander, I know. But like if I saw Isaiah Thomas outside of a party store, beer and wine and stuff when I was way back when I was a kid in the 80s. And I was going in to get a pop and chips or whatever. And there's old Isaiah sitting there giving me that smile. Hey, how you doing? And I was just didn't know what to do. So I said, hey, Isaiah. Now I'd be stoic with them and I'd be cool with them. But then I was kind of like, oh, my God, that's old Isaiah. If I saw anybody, I wouldn't. I could be, see any of the Tigers. I wouldn't know, except for Verlander. I wouldn't know them. I wouldn't have a clue. They could walk right by me at the gym and hit the pool and hit the bike, and I wouldn't know who they are. There's guys with Lions coats on, and I wonder if they're actually Lion players because they're big guys, but I have no idea. Don't know what they look like. And so you're losing that connection. So anyway, here's the problem. You're killing demand by having it on this channel. There's no demand to watch this channel. We don't even know what DSN is. Assuming it's Disney, which you would think would be DIS, I don't know what it is. I'm not going to watch the game. I'm going to be doing something else. I'll have a movie on. I'll be, as John C. said, playing a game or whatever, but I'll have a movie on I'll be watching poker, or I might be watching an old Pittsburgh Oakland game or something, the 72 game or something. You're gonna go into what you watch. And I don't pay for YouTube, although I wish I did because of these fucking commercials. That's why I don't commercial my. You watch me because I know a lot of, like, Bobby comes later and watches, and he there's no commercials to fuck you with. So that's a big thing. You don't get the connection, right? If I charge subscriptions, as you guys suggest, people who didn't want to pay, there's no connection with me. Here, there's connection. It's free. You watch. You know when I'm on, usually 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, every day. And that's it. And I'm updating you. Gold this, silver's that, the war is this. Here's the sports picks. Here's the betting. Here's the teaser trends. What's new? Mahomes is this. Joe Burrow is that. And, you come for that information. I see Colonel McGregor because I'm interested in the war, what's going on. And it's new every day, so he should be on every day. The one I question is Mark McGuire should be on more than every other week. With all that's going on, he needs to be on every week. Or come in on a Wednesday. I don't like he views it Wednesday. He's got to edit it. What do you got to edit it for? I don't edit this. You just go. John C., the commercials are optional, but people do it to make a few bucks. Let's go back here. TK, you should watch the old Tiger teams were great. Well, the 68 team, that was really good baseball. You had a stretch there where you had the Yankees, then you had Minnesota, then you had Baltimore, and then so it was Yankees 64, Minnesota 65, Baltimore 66, Boston 67, Detroit 68, Baltimore 69, 70, 71, and the fucking A's 72, 3, and 4 with Reggie Jackson and Joe Rudy and Catfish Hunter and those guys. That's when it was good, but the teams were great. Baltimore was great. Detroit, Oakland was great. Detroit had a good year, had some good players. So you had good players, right? And that's what you miss now. You don't have good players. So Detroit, in the 80s, they were okay. Nothing special. Remember Trammell and Whitaker and Kirk Gibson? Well, we hate Kirk Gibson because he went to the Dodgers. What was that all about? Oh, he can make a few more dollars. Go fuck yourself. That's the problem with it. Why would you? Al Kaline played with the Tigers. Willie Horton, Northrup, Stanley, McAuliffe, they were Tigers for years. Mickey Lolich, Denny McClain. So I don't like Gibson for going to LA. What the fuck was that all about? So you can make a few more dollars? Yeah, but you piss everybody off here. And this is where it's becoming where you turn your back on it, right? So Gibson was clutch, should have played football. I was shocked he didn't. He was an average baseball player, but he was an excellent football receiver. Trammell and Whitaker, they were good. They were smooth. They could kind of hit and good in the field. Arizona, any good? What sport are you talking? Are you talking basketball? Are you talking football? Are you talking what? This baseball? Clarify. The commercials are optional, but people do it to make a few bucks. Well, I can run commercials, but I don't really know how. and I don't do it. Uh, I hate when it's these idiots do it, and there's the guy's kicking a field goal, and just as he's going to kick it, they go to a commercial, and you're like, not now. And then when it comes back, I rewind it back to when he's going to kick, and then I turn it on, and then I run it, and then the commercial doesn't play if you have already seen the commercial. I do that a lot on Tubi, and I always watch The Gambler on Pluto with James Caan, and I just want to see the Vegas scene, right? So I run it from minute 50 to minute like 105, and I leave it there. And then when I come back, I go back to minute 50, and it starts with the commercial. But then when the commercial breaks come, they blow through them because I've already watched them. So I get to actually watch the whole scene. Sometimes I don't know what I'm watching. By the time I come back, I'm like, what scene in the movie is it? And then I have to rewind about 5 minutes to go, oh, okay, that's what I'm watching. In at least the 5 minutes. But I hate when I watch like North Dallas 40. There's a commercial every 5 minutes. It's like, I can't watch it. I can't take the break. It blows my mind that every 5 minutes commercials. I can't get into the movie. And so I go to Netflix or something. At least if you get regular TV and you're watching, at least it comes to a commercial and they play it. But there'll be longer periods of time, like if you're watching like Las Vegas, right? With James Caan, you can watch like 10 minutes, and then they have the commercial break, and then it goes on again. But I can't handle all the breaks. It's really destroying everybody because it kills your concentration, and then you get used to that, and then you're in a situation where you need to concentrate. You can't because you're so used to only having a 3 or 4 minute concentration, and then you don't concentrate during the commercials. I don't know about these commercials. I don't watch any of them on YouTube. I'm looking at that little clock clicking down to skip and then skip and back to the show. So I don't even know. There is no commercial. So you're really getting, screwed if you're doing commercials on YouTube. But anyway, so what Arizona are you talking about? Basketball, I think they'll win it. In baseball, I have no idea. In football, they suck. Basketball, Phoenix is average. So that covers it. Again, these wars are just bullshit. We're going broke. The U.S. knows they're broke. They have a $39 trillion debt. They know they can't pay, but they're not going to pay it back. They have no ambition to pay back the thing. None. They're not going to pay it back. So that's why you don't do treasuries, because you're not going to get paid back. So they'll come out with a new dollar. See, they think they can just keep printing. They think we'll just print an unlimited supply and nothing will happen. Although, as you can see, nobody's buying their treasuries, and you can see we're out of the banking and stock sectors because we're not going to get our money out. And if we do, our money's not going to be worthless. So if you understand the printing of the money, you realize you get out of the dollar because they're wrong. Again, their assumption's wrong. We can just keep printing and printing. We need money, we'll print it until the money has no value that you're printing. And that's the part they either don't understand or don't give a fuck about. They don't want the gold standard because it keeps them from printing more. However, if you would just raise the price of gold, but if we raise the price of gold, people won't buy stocks. They'll buy gold, and we don't want them to buy gold because the banks run it, and the banks want us in the stock market. And it's, again, we keep people stupid so they don't know the difference. They know they want to make money on their money, so they're going to buy stocks. Well, we'll buy Amazon because it's going up. We'll buy Bitcoin because it's going up. They don't understand anything, but people are too scared to ask or don't know the questions. They're kept in the dark, and somebody like me comes along and I blow them up, and they just don't know what to do with me. Even if they believe I'm right and believe I got to buy gold and silver, they don't want to admit they fucked up. I got 300 grand in the stock market. Why would I worry about that? Because it's not worth anything. The stocks, this whole economy is collapsed, and we're in a recession, but they won't, if they don't say it, then it isn't true. Uh, it's going to be tough, and you just got to be careful because the news is so fake. I heard a speech that Trump did. Oh, we won the war. We won the war with Iran. Oh, yeah, we already won it. They don't have an army and a navy. And then the colonel comes on. He says, well, they never had an army and a navy. We didn't do anything. Or no, an air force and a navy. They never had navy, and they never had an air force. All they do is they have all these missiles underground. They shoot them. They have an army and the missiles and the drones, and that's 2026 warfare, not 1940 warfare, WW2. It's like Vietnam. We lost Vietnam because, again, they went underground and we missiled them and nothing happened. And now they can't, like, if they put the Marines in, they'll all get killed. They won't even get to the land. They'll know the boat. They'll sink the boat. All the Marines are going to die. It's the stupidest thing, but it's not real. They're not going to do it. Oh, we got the greatest economy ever in the history of life. And you're like, you on drugs, Trump? You're supposed to be a businessman. You have no economy. Your dollar's shot. But because they keep the dollar, because they can keep printing it, and they're not going to pay back anybody. Their intention is not to pay back the 39 trillion. So if you're owed it, forget about it. And they'll just keep paying Social Security and the interest. They'll just keep printing more money and paying it. And they'll force Kroger's to take it. And Kroger's will start making the price higher. But what's going to happen is Kroger's won't be able to do that. So what will happen is, let's say Kellogg's, they need to charge $10 for cornflakes. But nobody's going to pay $10 for it. So then they make it, like now it's like $7. They make it 2 for $5. That's the only way they can sell it. So, like, I went to the meat grocery store where I get my meat, Bush's. It's more expensive, but the meats seem to be the same as if I went to Meijer's or Kroger's. So I get them because they're fresher and I can pick them. So he had a 2-pack of New York strips, $13.99 a pound. So it was like a pound and a quarter. So I go to the meat counter to pick one. And he says, no, one is $18, but if you take the two, they're $13.99 a pound. Now I see they're about a pound and a quarter, so I take the two for $13.99 because I would have taken one if it was a little more than a pound anyway. And I'm just like scratching my head going, well, if you're going to do two, you should do one at $13.99. Because clearly, why are you doing two at $13.99? Because you can't. I go to the manager and I kind of give him a little bit of economics saying, you have no market at $18.99. So if you got to sell two for $13.99, you should sell one for $13.99. And guess what? That should be your price. So what I'm trying to say is he can't raise the price to $18.99. Nobody will buy it. So therefore, you buy it $13.99, people will buy. So because he has to sell it at $18.99 because the prices are going up, he won't be able to. Nobody will buy it at that price. And this is what's going to happen to all these stores and Wendy's and McDonald's and all these restaurants and all these Nike and Polo and everything else. As their costs go up, they'll have to sell their price higher, but nobody will buy it. They will have to go out of business. You can cut a few heads or AI. What are you going to AI people? Like I say, if they're doing trucks with automated drivers, how are they going to fill the gas tank? Well, we'll need somebody to drive with them. Well, what's the point? But this is what happens. You cannot, if nobody will buy this, if your costs go up to $75, and so you're going to sell it for 100 and there's no buyers, and you got to sell it for the 65 you've been selling it for, but it costs you 75, or even if you sell it at 75 and it costs you 75, you got to go out of business. You can't sell it. If you're over market, if the market's here at $60, well, let's go to my ribs. If the market's $30 and then your costs go up and you're trying to sell for 45, there's nobody home. There's no buyers there. You have to sell it where the buyers are, and the buyers aren't going to pay the extra cost. So that's why you got to be careful that everybody thinks, well, costs are going to go way up. No, they're not, because nobody will pay for it. Nobody's paying $18 for a New York strip. I'll pay $13.99, but you should have all of them $13.99. And I told him, the guy, and he didn't do anything. He just gave me a funny look, and I told him to fuck off. And I told him, the butcher, I said, they're $13.99. He says, well, only if you buy the 2-pack. I told him to fuck off then. You want anything? No, I don't want anything. No interest. No, I actually wanted some hamburger I was going to store, or maybe I'll buy a roast. It's like a 3-pound roast. Then I cook it once and I have it. Now, I've been watching Gordon Ramsay has shows where he shows you how to cook. So it's not always Kitchen Nightmare or these other stupid shows that he does where he's in his kitchen with his kids and he's cooking. And what he does is he broils them and then he bakes them. The problem is he forgets to tell you what temperature to put it on. Well, bake it for 2 hours. At what temperature, you moron? 100, 200, 300? I don't know. Usually I'd say 175 is good. So he takes this roast and then he gets all these herbs and mixes them up and puts them on it. But who has all these herbs at home? Well, we'll take tomatoes and we'll take tomato paste and we'll put ginger, like he's grinding ginger, and like I have ginger, but I have the claw, and then I shave part of it and I put it in my like here. This is ginger at the bottom here, but I'm not, how do I put that onto to my meat? And then he has some other spices. Now I have like garlic, like he takes a lot of garlic, whole garlics. Well, I have garlic powder, so I shake it out like salt and pepper. And then I don't like when he uses regular salt. I would prefer my can, but maybe I can use my pink Himalayan for that. But you see what he cooks. And then it's always this nice sauce that he puts on the meat, and then he bakes the meat. And that, I bake it for 6 hours or whatever. Like, who has 6 hours to bake it? So that gets you into, how does he do this at his restaurant? Or he always bitches about fresh food when you're watching it. And he goes, what do you mean you freeze it? Well, we prepare it on Monday. We make 25 hamburgers, and then we reheat them. We microwave them on Tuesday when the orders come. So they're trying to be ahead of the game and just nuke it. He says, well, you can't nuke it. Okay, Gordon, what do you do at home? You make this big roast. You're not going to eat the whole thing in one sitting. You put it back in the fridge. How do you heat it up? How do you serve it the next day? I assume you're not using a microwave, so I guess you're putting it back in the frying pan. But don't tell me you're eating the whole dish every time you cook. You're cooking every day, So he makes some nice meals, and like he uses a lot of sugar though. Like he caramelizes onions. I always wanted to do that and make my own onion rings, and it's a lot of it is with sugar. So he takes like a big portion of sugar and puts it in with the frying pan and the olive oil, and it's all frying, and then the onions crystallize. They get brown. And I'm thinking, I'm not putting all that sugar in my thing. I don't want to die of diabetes with all this sugar. So I use cinnamon, I guess, instead of the sugar. Maybe I'll try that to caramelize onions. But anyway, it's interesting to see, but it's a lot of spices. Or he'll chop peppers and onions, my red and yellow peppers, and then he cuts in onions and he heats the pan, olive oil. Then he puts some other crap on it, a little sugar, a little red wine. I'm going to go buy red wine to cook with. It's crazy. It looks very nice. I'm sure it tastes very good, but who wants all the sugar in it? So he needs to cook non-sugar food. especially non-high fructose corn syrup. So again, it's cause and effect. So keep that in mind. The boat hits the iceberg, it's going to sink. You're on the boat, you need to get to the lifeboat. The dollar is crashing, you need to get out of the dollar, and here's the lifeboat, gold and silver. So you're almost looking at whatever happens, what is the lifeboat? What do I have to change? High fructose corn syrup is killing everything. You don't buy canned fruits or vegetables. The only canned thing I buy is tuna, and I don't think there's high fructose corn syrup. I was seeing beets, and I said, "Oh, I'll buy canned beets, high fructose corn syrup in it." So now I got to buy the beet at the grocery store and put it in boiling water for a half hour, and then it tastes really sweet. It really does taste good, and that's the only thing. But it's so big, and I don't want to, I don't want to eat it for 3 days. It starts getting mushy. But the cause of the internet, the effect is, um, people less, the cell phone. People are less. They're talking more on the phone. They start texting more, and you have less communication. You have less face to face. You have less ability to talk or manage. The dollar being printed to death, the dollar becomes worthless. You need gold and silver. So in each phase, you know, football, okay, it's not on, or baseball is not on regular TV, so you're going to lose interest in it because if you're home watching the game, it's one thing, but if you're not watching it, you're watching something else, which is taking your interest off of it. I am noticing basketball having more games on ABC and NBC. They must have heard me speak because now I look on like a Saturday or even a Thursday, they have some games on, but I have no interest in them. They did have the Piston game, but we've lost interest in watching basketball. So even when it's on NBC, I really have no interest, and I can only take about 5 minutes because where's Magic, Kareem, Bird, Isaiah? Where are these guys? They're not there, and so I don't know who they are. I'm not watching college ball, so I think the only guy I know is Caravan. Uh, that's it. And you don't know the coaches, you don't know the players, you don't care about them, and then when they go into the pros, you have no idea who they are. Wimbiana or Antelope. Who's Antelope? Luca Brasi. I don't know who these guys are. I don't even think they played college ball in America. I have no interest in them. It's not like I followed them. Isaiah won the title against Syracuse, and he's a great player. The Pistons get him. Now you're excited. They got Isaiah Thomas, or they got Magic Johnson, or Boston getting Larry Bird was no big deal, but you didn't know who Larry Bird was until the championship game, and you didn't know he'd be that good. Kareem, you knew. Bill Walton, you knew. UCLA. So again, these games aren't on TV. By putting this game on TBS, you're killing it. You're absolutely killing this huge demand you would have if it was on CBS. Why is it on TBS? And not everybody gets TBS. So unless I go to one of these restaurants, I will not see the game. I just have, do I really want to go to a restaurant? Maybe to watch Michigan, Arizona. It's Saturday night. I think the pool closes at 6:30. Otherwise, I'd stay there and watch it. Monday night. Well, no, there's no TVs at the club. They're renovating. The club's going to be closed from like April 17th, April 29th, or something like that. It's going to be closed for like 10 days. They're still remodeling, and they took the TVs down a year ago and moved the bikes, and the only thing they didn't move was the pool. And so you have all that, and it's crazy. So there's a hamburger place I could maybe go to, but are they going to get upset if I am there to watch the game? Or these other places, these other like bar type of places where they have the bar and they, the $15 hamburgers, and they have the beer and the drinks. And I have no interest in any of that. And, I can see having like chili for $5 for a little bowl. They try to make the portions smaller, and you're paying for the TVs. But will I be able to stay there? I don't know. But That's the key to it is that. So I might go watch the Michigan Arizona game and then the championship game. But you're killing it because you got to have those on regular TV. You're killing the interest, and people can't watch it, so they'll watch it on YouTube on the replay. I watched the whole game yesterday on replay of the that Connecticut Duke game. It's on YouTube, about 25 minutes. It just goes play, 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 and the ending, like Connecticut's going to win, and they're down 10. It's like, and there's 4 minutes left. You're like, but I know they're going to win. It's like crazy. Duke forgot to play. They didn't keep playing. They played not to lose, so of course they lost. And even at the end, the guy just dribbles the ball for 10 seconds and doesn't try to pass it, just keeps dribbling it and dribbling it. And if he's going to get tied up, throw it off the guy's leg or something. But he didn't need to make the pass that he made. That was a stupid pass. And the two guys at the other end for Duke, what the fuck were they doing there? They needed help. You couldn't get it to the guy. Anyway, so that's what we have. We have a lot of change. Sometimes it's good. A lot of times it's not. Amazon coming in, taking malls out is bad. DoorDash is stupid. The electric car is even dumber. To think a battery will work, it doesn't work. I'm plugging in my internet. I'm plugging in my phone a lot. It doesn't work. The batteries don't hold charge. So you can have an electric car. It's still a battery. They still don't hold charges. It's a stupid idea. That's why Tesla does it. He's an idiot. But I mean, nobody asked for it. It's not demanded. It's a malinvestment, which means there's no demand. You're making something nobody wants. Yeah, you get a few people buying Tesla. They're just, you got 90,000 to waste, be my guest. I don't. I never wanted to buy an expensive car. I thought it was a stupid waste of money. I'd rather buy gold and silver and go to Vegas and travel to Europe than buy an expensive car. As long as the car drives me to the grocery store and the pool, fine. It's a Camry. It's a beautiful car. 25,000. What do I need a $75,000 Mercedes for? So anyway, that's what it is. So you're always looking at the cause and then the effects of everything. Women, you get married. What's the effect? You can't date other girls. You get her pregnant. What's the effect? Now you got kids running around. That affects you. It costs you. There's more money. So there's big effects to everything. Now maybe you want that. Oh, I want a kid. Okay. That's another story. So it depends what you want, but that's the effect of it. So it happens in everything. But right now, baseball's dead. Basketball's dead. Football's the only thing because we bet on it. If we didn't bet on football, it'd be dead with these stupid rules and all these long commercials and all this instant replay. What's with the instant replay? What is that? It's the stupidest thing. It's a stupid thing. It stupids you down because they stop play to review it, and the review takes 5 minutes for something that should take 30 seconds. That shouldn't even be done. The instant replay, the intent was probably I take a quick look at it. Did he get his foot inbounds? Yeah, it looks like he did. Okay. Yeah, okay, we'll reverse it. It was designed for like a 10-second call. Now let's go away for 5 minutes. It's like watching Pluto and Tubi. It takes you don't even know what you're watching these commercials, and then you're coming back to the game, and they don't even show you the review. They just say, "Oh, yeah, his foot was inbounds." If we slow motion and zoom in, because that's how the refs see it, you can see that one blade of grass is there, so he's inbounds or out of bounds. Well, the ref can't see that, and that's not the point. The point is you have the ref call the game. Now in baseball, this whole bullshit about framing it, and then like the guy made 2 bad calls on the pitch. We're like this far out. I mean, if it's this far out, that's ridiculous. So the ump gets screwed for fucking the calls up, but in his mind, they were good calls. And again, if you got to go this close to see if the pitch was a strike or not, that's ridiculous. This whole thing is stupid. It delays the game. You're trying to speed up the game, and now you're delaying a game more, and it kills the momentum and it bores people. Another reason not to watch baseball, if you can even find it on whatever channel DSN is. All right. I will end you with I like my energy today. Some days I'm a little tired. Let's see what our gold and silver is doing. So we've got silver. Silver was 71 when I first turned it on, 747. And then gold 45.24. So gold's sitting nicely in the 45s. We've gone, you can see the 10 o'clock drop happened at 11 o'clock, taking it from 45.70 to 45.15 or 20. So it goes down $50 at 10 o'clock. Why? No reason. And it goes back to 45.60, and now it's going down again for no reason. And again, this is paper gold, not physical. So the physical gold we have, we don't care. This is meaningless to us. But if we want to buy or sell, we need to check it to see what's going on. Let's see what the Dow is doing. The Dow, for some reason, is up 142, 45,308. This is done by the government printing. This is not real either. You know, you'd like to actually see something that's real, but we can't. So 45,000 used to be 50. It's headed to like 5,000. They're going to keep printing money and printing money and printing money until they can't. Let's check my email and see if Daria has texted me yet. Still nothing from her. And it's funny, when I go on to her Instagram, it says she was on Saturday at 12:30. And when I go on her, this is Daria's Telegram, and it says last seen March 24th, which is Tuesday. So I keep texting her. She can probably see it. Then I have another friend who is in St. Pete, Russia also. And so I texted her to see if she responds, and she hasn't seen my thing. So I don't think they can get on Telegram, but it's the only thing. So that's why I'm emailing her as another point of origin to communicate with her, because it's hard. I don't even know if I can call her if she can answer. But you know, I'm sure she's okay. But she does have health issues sometimes, and so it's just you want to get that hello and hello, how are you? I love you. This, that, and the other, as we want from our friends and our family. So. Am I worried? Not really, but I am. Would be nice to hear from her. So just to make sure she's okay. Jenna, on the other hand, is in Berlin now, so she's on WhatsApp, so I can hear from her. She's depressed because she's waiting to get her Social Security card so she can work. She's waiting to hear about her son who got kidnapped by the Gestapo, as I told you. She paid all this money, but it wasn't to free him at that time. It's when he gets to the army to try to escape him, which I thought, you're paying the money to get to do the exchange. Here's money. Give me the kid. I didn't know it was like, well, we're going to the front lines and try to do it. And then I'm like, well, why aren't they asking for more money? You gave them money. You think, well, no, we changed our mind. We need more money, which is what I thought would happen. So she's still waiting on that. So uh, it's tough for her now in Berlin, but Odessa's all blown up anyway. So she didn't have any life in the Ukraine. They've killed that. Anyway, it's tough. So that's what's going on. Uh, I think I covered everything. Mostly it was the bowling show that got me into this mindset. It was 29 million people and it died. And I know I don't watch it. And the reason is it's not on ABC at 3:30 on a Saturday anymore. And so you would just know, oh, like Monday Night Football, But then they moved it to ESPN. They killed it. You can't do that. You can't start taking these games off the norm. These Amazon and Prime games and the Football Network. You can't do that. The NFL Network. You can't do that. People aren't going to pay for it. You're going to lose a lot of viewers. Fortunately, you still have the games on Sunday, and that's what's keeping you. But if you start moving that away and not having Sunday games, you won't have football. We will bet it, but we'll watch the games on YouTube. But we will not. I'm not chasing Prime and the Disney Channel and this channel and that channel and that channel. And I got to pay for everything. You're trying to change the mindset where if you want something, you pay for it. You want it just like you go to the store, you pay for it. Not in TV. TV is free, and I'm not going to change. Sorry, I'm not going to buy Amazon or Disney. The only one I bought was Netflix so I could watch movies and Money Heist. Basically, that's it. And I would pay to get Pluto and Tubi, no commercials. I'd pay like $10 a month for that because they have a great lineup. But that's it. I wouldn't pay much more than that. But I wouldn't pay the Disney Channel just because I hate Disney and stuff like that. Anyway, that's what's going on, everybody. So have a wonderful day. It's getting warmer here as we're getting to April Fools, which is Wednesday. My last rent payment here. I'm so excited. And then I'm waiting to get my lease, and I'm waiting to get my new address, and then I got to change my utilities and set up the internet there. That's mine versus here. They do it. And it's like up to $65. I mean, it's a joke here. I can't believe I've been here 4 years. I was just here for a year because I had the job and it was like to move for another place, but it got very complex. So now I am able to move and it's much cheaper. So it'll be win-win all over the place. And that is noisy with these idiots and the dog barking and everything. Anyway, so that's it. So have a wonderful day. www.teaserking.com, our family. Be good. And if you're betting, the basketball bets. The basketball today, San Antonio over 243, 2 units. I think that's my only bet in baskets. This weekend, I like Connecticut plus 2.5 for 3 units and Arizona plus 1.5 for 3 units. Arizona is like this close to a lock, as is Connecticut. That's why I went from 2 units to 3 units. The units tell you how strong I like it and how strong you should bet it. So if you've been betting $50 on my plays that I gave you 7-1 this weekend, if you're betting 50, I would probably say go 75 or 100 on these two. I probably will. I love Arizona and then Connecticut. They just beat Michigan State. They beat Duke, and they got Illinois. Illinois is, is not that. I don't think they're that great. They beat Iowa. Iowa was a 9 seed, so I'm not buying that. They did beat Houston, so give them credit for that against that tough defense. You might also play the game under. Connecticut seems to have a good defense, but I thought they'd be under against Duke, so these are more like play the teams. And that's it. So keep an eye on gold and silver. Gold holding over 4,500. We've gone through that 10 o'clock drop, so we should see more. And then I'm waiting for China to finally start buying the shit out of it. And the silver's hugely, again, this is paper bullshit silver price, gold price, not physical price. 10 times higher because the supply is 10 times lower. 200,000 ounces of gold physically, a million or tons and a million tons of gold paper. And of course, with the more supply, the price is going to be lower. But it's bullshit. You still only have 200,000 tons of gold. That's it. Even in options, it doesn't mean you can have more than 200,000 tons or ETFs and all that crap. All right. Have a good day. Go enjoy. Have fun. Get out. Play with your friends. Go bowling. Go play poker. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a nice day.